back in 2008 and 9, because initially I'm an engineer in automotive. And I attended a conference, it was here in the UK, it was in London, talking about the electrification of Africa. And it was a brilliant conference that I attended to. It was an organization called Association for Black Engineer UK, so I used to be part of the committee at the time. So the event was fantastic. We had a great speaker, but I can't really remember the name of those speaker. But there's actually one image that captured my mind and completely changed the course of my career and also my life, I could say. It was this satellite image of the distribution of power across the globe. And I'm sure many of you have come across that now because it's very famous. It's from the NASA, right? And you see all the continent very well lit, and there's one that is particularly dark, and that's the continent of Africa. And I remember when I saw that image that day, so I was shocked. I was shocked because, yes, I grew up in Africa, precisely in Cameroon. And I know we had some issues, but I've never been confronted with that image. And obviously, I haven't had the opportunity to travel abroad, see other places. So it really shook me, and I understood, actually, it's much more serious, the problem of electrification than I actually thought. And that actually completely changed the way I saw things going forward. So I felt like a compelling force that wanted me to be part of creating a solution. Because sometimes say, we noticing problem here and there, but the thing is, most of the time, nothing will change until you get engaged, until you decide to do something, right? So that's what it is. So I decided that I wanted to be. It was sort of my superhero moment when you feel like, I want to change the game, change everything. So I decided to get involved in the industry. So bear in mind, I was coming from an industry that's completely different, automotive, right? Although there's some, obviously, connection now with EVs. So I got into I started developing that interest for energy as a sector. I didn't know anything. So I had to sort of train myself, I went to what I call the YouTube and the Google University. That was before AI was around, right? Before the ChatGPT time. So I wanted to learn everything around it. So I figured out that, definitely we need more power into Africa. Now comes the question, which power? Just to make it simple and a little bit easy to do that way, you have dirt fuel and clean fuel. Yeah, I know some people won't like the way I portray it, but let's just leave that is for now, right? So I'm sure we can discuss afterwards. So I just started looking at the name of my company. I decided to go, obviously, clean energy way, because obviously I care about climate change as well, and that's what set me into renewables in Africa. And then we've gone through obviously many steps, and then and as any company will go through, just to come up to what we do right now, which is virtual media platform and also a service provider. And our job is very simple: spread awareness about renewable energy across the continent, and to our customers and clients. There's very three things we do. We really help them to get more visibility, more leads, and more deals. Because whatever product or service that you have, if your target audience don't know you, you go nowhere. So our job is to make sure that these guys are able to meet the target audience, get leads with the target audience, and get deals. And how do we do that? We have our awareness packages, which are webinar-based solutions that we help them with, so that you don't have to travel all the time back and forth into the continent. So if you want more information about the company, very happy to share that with you. And we have something just at the end of my presentation that I want you to pay attention to, and hopefully you will attend, which is a webinar next week. But for the time being, let's move into the conversation and presentation. But like TJ said, so I want to keep it as interactive as possible. So if you have a question, please feel free to raise your hand. If you can raise your hand here, or drop the question. I'm sure TJ will interrupt me and we can respond to that. Or if you prefer, we can leave some time in the end and we'll go through that. So whatever is suitable for you, because we have, let's say, a private audience here, it's a closed audience, so I want to keep it this way. So what I'm going to take you through here, so I've done a little bit of introduction, as you can see. We're just going to go through some very key points, right? The energy landscape, having as well an understanding, because energy landscape is good for you to understand, okay, what's the lay of the land at the moment, what are the key countries in focus, because a lot of people that come to me, they want to know what are the key markets in the continent, so where they can potentially look at. I'm going to talk to you about maybe one company we work with which is very successful, that we supported, and give you a little bit of understanding about what are the opportunities going forward and the barriers as well that we're encountering, and finish up with giving you an understanding of what's ahead for people. And hopefully after that, I would have given you plenty of insights for you to get to the questions. So if that's okay, so TJ, we probably can move into the next slide. Yeah, and I want to talk about where are we at the moment? Because definitely the industry is growing. It's certainly growing from the time I joined to the point to where we are right now. And one thing that's obviously I've started 2014 is not to say that there were no renewable energy industry before in the continent. There was definitely, but 2014 is quite significant for me because this is when we started really seeing the first project from the RIP program. That's actually the major auction program in South Africa, which started in 2011 and actually started to deliver projects in 2014. That's what we really saw things moving forward and jumping ahead. But altogether, between 2014 and 2023, so we can see that there has been an increased investment into the sector. So that's 15 billion that we saw, that was in 2023, that was about 2 years ago, which was more than double the 2022. That shows that really there is a clear enthusiasm for the sector for Africa. And I also have to say, it actually follows a global trend. If you look at the global trend, you see that definitely there's more and more investment into renewable. Okay, things may look a little bit different between this year and next year for the simple reason that obviously there's a new administration in the US, which obviously is not very keen on renewables as you know. But up until that time, especially with the big program that the Biden administration launched at the time, clearly they were investing a lot into the sector together with the European and the Asian. So that's why then you can see things moving forward. So I just want to stop here just to say that yes, we say 15 billion in renewables in 2023 in the continent. However, to be honest, it's nothing compared to what's going on globally. And that's what I wanted to give you from those stats. It only represents 2.3% of the global share. But for the whole continent, that is Africa. So that's to say that there's a lot of room for improvement that we can do here. Yeah, so it's good to keep that into perspective. It's not nothing 15 billion, that's for sure, but for the whole continent, like I said, we can do a lot more than that. Looking at the result that we have as a continent, yeah, so that's what I wanted to let you know. But what we also seen between 2014 and 2023, in terms of the actual capacity that we built, and I'm talking about the capacity of projects here, both the utility scale, but also the CNI scale, so solar, wind, all hydro. We built about 34 gigawatts, right? It sounds big, huge, but at the scale of a continent, I'm sure you and I will agree, it's not a lot, yeah? Especially we're talking about almost 10 years time in here, so that's 9 years we're talking about here. It's not a lot. But that's actually what we're seeing. But we obviously moving forward. TJ, just checking. So you can hear me still right now, right? Just want to make sure that.
Yeah, I can see yourself. I can see yourself as well as the screen. Okay. Everyone else can too.
Yeah, and you can hear me well, right?
Yep, yeah, I can hear you after.
Okay, excellent. So please, if at any point in time you can't hear me, you can't see me, let me know so that I can stop to make sure that we are all together.
That's right.
So, as I was saying that the capacity has doubled, so over the last 9 years, decade or so, yeah. But if you thought that was great, it's about to get even crazier, if I could say so. Why? For the simple reason that the African Development Bank, together with many other partners, they have this massive program that they launched, which is called Mission 300. So don't worry, that's not a Tom Cruise movie, although it sounds like it. But it's simply that their ambition is to build 300 gigawatts of power in Africa by 2030. In other words, that's actually between now and in 5 years' time. So it's huge. It's huge. So that means we're almost talking about doubling quadrupling, what we've had in 2023. Because I think we had 34 gigawatts in 2014, and it has jumped to 72. But if we are to actually reach that 300 gigawatts, we need to multiply that figure, 72 gigawatts, by more than 4, right? So that's actually quite significant for the next 5 years. So yeah, so that's a lot. So that's what they set up as an ambition. So I'm sure you're going to immediately ask me a question: how realistic it is, Tony? I would say it's very difficult to say at this point in time, right? It's very difficult to say. However, even if they can do a third of it, that's an additional 100 gigawatts, which is definitely more than welcome into the continent. That's what we need. So Mission 300 is the name of the program. So if you Google it, you see. So you have it's a combination of multiple MDBs plus GFIs plus philanthropies as well, coming together, working hand in hand, and wanting to deliver this project. I attended a briefing on this project, on this program here in London. That was, I think it was last, I can't remember. It was not probably like, no, it was this year actually, it was earlier. Probably 2 or 3 months ago. So yes, that's the plan. The African Development Bank, you probably know, has a new president there, and then obviously I'm sure he will want to demonstrate that he can take this project as fast as possible. So yeah. So let's move into the next slide. Okay. So usually people come to me and say, okay, where is the market? What are the key countries in Africa that and where we see renewables? The reality is, if we're looking at figures, facts and figures, there's actually 3 top markets. Yeah, so, and I've listed them here. So you have South Africa, you have Morocco, and you have Egypt. They're really the one really dominating, I must say. Because when you bring those 3 together, they represent about 66% of the capacity in terms of wind and solar. And they represent as well 57% of the investment that's going into Africa. So that's really where the market is. That means if some of you out there are investors and they want to invest into the sector in the continent, and you're looking for markets where there is traction, there is momentum, certainly you will want to look at those 3 countries, yeah? But obviously there's a lot more potential elsewhere. But they are the one dominating at the moment. Yeah, I'm sure some of you would have heard about this guy over and over again. For example, for me, so I've been, since this year started, I've already been twice to Morocco for conference and to discuss with potential partners. And then before the end of the year, there's a very good chance I'll be going to, I was traveling to South Africa. Yeah, just to show you that how regularly the name of those countries will come up into conversations, because they are really the one attracting attention. Now, in terms of the technology that dominates, again, you wouldn't be surprised to know that solar is the one. Because I usually say to people, so essentially in the continent we have 5, let's say, key energy sources, renewable energy sources that are exploited. You have solar, you have wind, you have hydro, you have biomass, and what is the one that I forgot? Let me get it. Waste to energy, yeah, I think.